Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Meredith Massey, and full transparency, re-recording from the live session earlier this morning because of some glitches in the video, and I wanted you all to have a clean version. So let's just jump right in. Thank you to everyone who joined live and to all of you who are accessing this recording. And here's what we can expect in this conversation. I'm going to share with you actual strategies that will help you get results, just like the hundreds of other leaders that I've worked with for the past decade plus, so that you can enjoy higher levels of fulfillment, create impact through meaningful work, so that work feels good to you. That's my whole mission here, is for you to be happier going to work every day, whether it's in a new role or creating more fulfillment in your current role. So in this conversation, you're going to get the actual strategies that get you results. I would just ask you to stay present and really lean into what speaks to you. I heard this expression on another webinar and stole it fair and square. Take the chicken, leave the bone. Not everything is going to speak to you. Not everything is going to be something that you're excited to take on. Not everything is going to feel practical or relevant to you. That's fine. Take the 5% that is. In other words, take the chicken and leave the bone. So who's ready? Who is ready? Okay, first a little bit of background. For those of you who don't already know me, hi, I'm Meredith Massey. I'm a certified career and leadership coach based in Colorado, and I have helped hundreds of leaders, maybe just like you, who somehow have managed to feel disconnected from actual meaningful work. And listen, I've been there myself. If you've checked out my website, if you've read about me on my About page, you know that I too have felt the Sunday night scaries, because the work that I was anticipating going to on Monday did not fit me in one or several ways. I was literally sick to my stomach on Sunday nights in anticipation of the work week ahead. In fact, I spent the first 15 years of my professional life, and a few more since then, let's face it, chasing empty success, chasing promotions, paychecks that I convinced myself would look really good on paper. And they did. I had no trouble landing in new jobs, getting the promotions, because what I had learned how to do was tell them what they wanted to hear. Trouble was, then I had to show up as that person. So every day I felt like I was leaving a part of myself at the door to show up in ways that I thought they expected of me. That left me feeling super anxious, exhausted from, playing a lead actor in my own life's role, and constantly questioning whether or not I was good enough. One day, and if you want to watch my TEDx talk on this, you can hear the whole story, but here's the abbreviated version. One day, I missed the bus to get to work. I missed the bus that would start the hour-and-a-half plus commute, and literally couldn't force myself to go to work that day. I went back home, got in my PJs, called in sick, and I went back to bed. And it was that day, and probably other days following that I realized something had to change. Fast forward several years, and I decided to stop focusing on just what looked good on paper and start to figure out exactly what mattered to me, what I actually wanted to do, what meaningful work actually looked like for me. And what was the environment? What was that going to look like where I could do my best work for something that felt meaningful to me? I literally created my first framework in 2010. Don't do the math. And I've refined it over the last 14 years of working with hundreds of other leaders just like you. And that's how I've created my Success to Significance framework that I'm going to share with you today. Look at that sweet young thing on the screen. Isn't she cute? That's from a few years ago. So now what about you? That's my story. What's your story? Here's what I think I might know about you since you showed up for yourself here today. You know, when you were growing up, everyone around you told you what the clear path to success looked like. Study hard, get a good job, work your way up the ladder, and your career and life will be great. So you did that, right? So many of us did. You did that. And as you grew up, though, you started to notice that despite hitting all those milestones, the promotions, the pay raises, the bigger titles, that you started feeling more and more disconnected from your work. Maybe you even wondered, is this what success is actually supposed to feel like? Is this what I really wanted? But now you're realizing that true fulfillment in your work comes from doing meaningful to you work, not just ticking off the boxes of achievement and success. You know now that finding and landing your best role yet, or turning your current role into your best role yet, requires a shift from that success mindset, checking the boxes, to a significance focus. And you're maybe feeling a little stuck, not quite sure how to make this shift, not quite sure how to even define and create more meaningful work. Well, the good news is you're right here in this room. Because spending the next few minutes together, listen, you're not going to leave here with a giant checklist of things to do that may or may not work. You'll actually get the chance to know what it takes to make the shift from success to significance so you can start enjoying higher levels of fulfillment starting right now. So who's really ready? Who's really ready to learn what it takes to define your best role yet? All right, let's do this, you guys. Let's do this. So making the shift. Here's what I want to kick off with, because when you focus on these 4 things, you will be able to intentionally start to make the shift. You'll be able to gain clarity about who you are and what you really want in your work life. We spend so much time there. We spend so much time at work. Let's make sure it doesn't suck the life out of us. With these 4 things, you will have the confidence to pursue a role that truly fits you or to make meaningful changes where you are. And you'll also have the conviction to know when things align and when they don't, so you can make some shifts further. Don't take my word for it. Listen, I've been doing this with, again, hundreds of leaders over the last 14 years, but I want you to hear from some actual clients as we talk today. This is an actual client who just started her brand new, exciting role, her best role yet, on Monday. Maybe she was a little like you. She felt lost. She never really dove deep into what she actually wanted out of her work, out of the organization, out of the role, etc. So she was always just taking roles that her resume said she could do. Together, we went through these 4 things that we're going through today, these 4 strategies, and got down to the nitty gritty. And I challenged some of her thinking along the way. And what she was able to do was turn the challenging situation of unemployment into a rewarding, crazy cool new job. Like I said, that she just started on Monday. All right, so let's jump in. We're going to start with your who. Think of it this way. There are different ways that we show up energetically. And each level of energy, if you will, shapes how we experience situations, how we respond to challenges, really how we show up. So it's our energy that creates our who. It defines how you show up in every aspect of your life, not just work. So you'll see that working on your who will spill over into your personal life. Absolutely. So truly, whether you're at work, at home, in a challenging situation, in a celebratory situation, your energy dictates how you engage, how you lead, how you respond. So think about it and make some notes. How are you responding in general these days? Are you reactive or proactive? Overwhelmed or feeling empowered? That all comes back to how you are managing your energy. If you're in a job search right now and you're joining in because you want your next role in a new company to be your best role yet, think of your who as the energy you bring to every conversation. When you're networking, when you're in interviews, and how confidently you communicate your value. It's about showing up as someone who is clear on what they want and why they deserve it. If you're in your current role and you're looking for more to create more fulfillment in your current role, your who is all about how you show up to lead, to collaborate, to influence those around you, and choosing to elevate the energy you bring to every situation, every challenge, every moment will help you show up with purpose and impact. And like I said, the best part about this is that you manage your own energy. It's not fixed. It's a choice. We always have a choice in every situation. So let's look at some of the choices that we can make in terms of our energy. So I'll just go through each of these very quickly. And when you have questions about them, give me a shout out on email or on LinkedIn and let's have a conversation. But remember, how you think, how you feel will impact how you behave, and that is the energy that you're showing up with. So maybe you're feeling a little stuck, like you don't have any choices. That sense of powerlessness puts us in victim mode. I know that's a pretty heavy word and people don't like it, but just think of it as feeling powerless, like your life, your work, everything is happening to you versus for you. It's truly the feeling of I lose. Because I don't have any choice. I don't have any say. I don't have any control over what's happening around me. So imagine showing up in victim mode or powerlessness mode. Your energy is showing up as that in a job interview or in a big executive presentation in your current role. It absolutely impacts how you'll show up. Let's go to the next one, antagonist. This one is characterized by anger, and maybe it's not full-blown anger, but frustration, resentment, combativeness, resisting. Yeah, I'm not doing that. It's the I win, you lose frame of reference. It's literally seeing the world in black, white, good, bad, positive, negative, better than, worse than, and no gray in between. So the antagonist, imagine showing up at a networking event and suddenly you're showing up with antagonist energy. I'm right, you're wrong. Your way of doing the job search is wrong, mine is better. Or you're in a one-on-one with the direct report and leading from this space of the antagonist. I'm right, you're wrong, do what I say. What happens to engagement in that moment? As we move up, we start to see that there's less and less judgment happening as we go work up this ladder, so to speak, in the energy levels. So the next one, rationalizer, we're judging a little bit less and we're really justifying our actions. Everything is fine. This is the level of coping, of tolerance. It's okay, it is what it is. Let's move on. How do we take a step forward? What's the silver lining? And you'll know when other people or when you yourself are in this mode, because it sounds a little like this. Well, at least we didn't lose that deal, or at least, I'm trying to put it into a job search frame. At least I got called for 2 interviews, and even though I didn't make it past that, we're trying to find the silver lining. So it helps us to get out of either woe is me victim or, I win, you lose antagonist, because it helps us take positive steps forward. But you can tell it's still a little bit heavy. Yeah, it is what it is. Meh. That's it. That's the meh energy level. What does it look like when you're bringing helper energy to a situation? This is a beautiful energy level. And if you have a lot of helper energy, your who is all about care, compassion, especially concern and helping others. It's all about you win and how can I help? Now, I'll tell you, without healthy boundaries, at this level for helper, we can say yes to so many things that all of a sudden we feel overwhelmed and, oh my God, why did I say yes to all these things? Victim. Or, I can't believe they asked me to do it again. I've already done it so many times to help them. Antagonist, right? So it requires some healthy boundaries. But helper, we're starting to move into definitely higher and higher levels of your who. Let's talk about the learner. This is the one who sees a learning opportunity in every situation. When we're operating from a learner space, if we flubbed the interview, there wasn't a mistake. It's, well, here's what I learned. Here's what I learned, and I'll apply it for next time and do much better. If it's in your current role, the team makes a mistake. You could approach it from this level 5 learner space and say, you guys, All right, it didn't go exactly as planned. What do we learn? What are the new opportunities? What are the possibilities here? And at this level, we both win because we're learning from every situation. Maybe you resonate sometimes at the connector level. Now we're getting into some like serious high consciousness living, and some of the most powerful, most visionary leaders in the world operate from this connector space because it is very intuitive. It's tapping into our inner coach, if you will. This is where we see that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So, and it's also visionary. And the feeling here is we all win all the time. Gosh, if I go to that interview, they get to know me, I get to know them. Even if I don't get this role, maybe there's something we can do together in the future. I'm going to stay in touch. In your current role as a team leader, for example, this is the level of energy that is all about team synergy and truly seeing the whole as greater than the sum of its parts. You have some strengths, you have some strengths, you've got some different skills and strengths. And look, when we collaborate and put our collective wisdom together, imagine the exponentially better outcomes and results. That's connector level energy. Now, creator, this is the highest level of energy. And listen, no one human resonates at this level 100% of the time. The closest people who might have gotten there are the Dalai Lama, Buddha, Jesus, Allah. It's really being able to tap into very divinely inspired intelligence. It's tapping into intelligence of the highest order. And regardless of your belief system, whether it's God, Buddha, Allah, the universe, it's being able to tap into that level of intelligence. For example, I'm sure you've had some moments where something has come out of your mouth in a situation and you're sort of surprised. It wasn't planned, it wasn't scripted, but man, it was good. And you think, where did that come from? That was really good stuff. That's this level 7 level creator energy. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to take notes on. When you manage your energy, you take back a certain level of control. When you manage it, by manage, I mean when you make choices about how you want to show up to serve yourself, to serve your team, to serve others. When you make conscious choices about how you show up in your current role, in your future role, that's when magic happens with your who. When you're actually choosing your who. I call this your energy of being. So think about the last moment that mattered to you, a job interview, a networking conversation, a one-on-one with your direct report, that executive presentation. Think about how did you show up in that moment and rate yourself in this 1 to 7. Victim to creator. And think, gosh, what would it have looked like if I had chosen a different level to operate from? And just make some notes about your energy in that moment, how you showed up, what you might want to learn from that level 5, and what you might want to do differently. The first key in your who is noticing. You have to notice and be aware of how you're showing up. The second step is to radically accept where you are. Gosh, yeah, I am feeling a little frustrated today at that meeting I went to, or I'm really frustrated about traffic and now I'm late for this interview. Okay, I'm frustrated. Yep, here it is. I accept that. It's then and only then can you move to consciously choosing a different way to show up. So think about it when it comes to your current situation, whether that's looking for a new role in a new company or wanting to show up in a different way in your current company. As you move up the ladder, there'll be less judgment, less stress, and higher levels of fulfillment. Let's move on to the next one, your what. You know, most career coaches spend a lot of time talking to folks about, well, what are your skills that you've gained? What's your past experience? And let's, create a resume and a LinkedIn around everything that you've done in the past. Sure. Here's the thing though. I have a lot of friends in HR, so I'm going to pick on you all for a minute. HR, how many of you are so excited to do payroll? You have so much experience. You can talk about achievements. I saved one company $100,000 by revamping the entire payroll process. I say that because I know that for the most part, it's not the favorite part of any HR leader's job. If, let's say you're a job seeker and you did save $100,000 by revamping the payroll process, but you would rather stick a hot poker in your eye than ever have to handle payroll again, why are we talking about it? Get those accomplishments off your resume. You don't want to be known as the payroll gal or guy. Similarly, if you're looking for more fulfillment in your current role, if payroll's not your jam, how can you identify someone who loves doing it and delegate that? So we're not going to talk about just plain old skills and regular old experience in this section. What I want you to really tap into is, what do you do best naturally? What do you do best because it's literally how your brain is hardwired? Let's talk about how you do what you do to tap into a different way of looking at what you do, either in your current role or in your next role. Let's be clear before I start. This has nothing to do with personality or preferences. It is absolutely a part of the physiological makeup of your brain's hardwiring. And I call this your energy of doing. You have a ton of energy to do what you do best. So why not get paid to do that? Because it comes naturally to you and it feels a little bit less like work. All right, let's dive in. We each have a level of need in these 4 areas. A low level of need, a mid level of need, which means I just need enough, and a high level of need. So take some notes on where you think you fall in each of these 4 categories within this what you do. Because I'm telling you again, for those wanting to make your current or your future role more fulfilling, you got to do more of what comes naturally to you. Here we go. How much information do you need to gather and share? So think about when you're in the mode of needing to solve a problem, make a decision, or take action on something. And frankly, isn't that what they pay you to do all day, every day at work anyway? Solve problems, make decisions, take action. Do you simplify? No, give me 2. I need the executive summary, 2 bullet points, and I can say yes or no. On the opposite end of the spectrum, are you the one who says, I need a ton more information. Tell me everything. I'll sift through what I feel like is most relevant in this situation, but leave nothing to chance. Spare no detail. And that's what fuels you being able to more sort of naturally solve the problem, make the decision, or take action. Or maybe you're a little like me and you fall straight in the middle. I need enough information in the moment. And once I feel like I have enough, let me go and do something. Just leave a little space for me to come back when I need a little bit more information later. So where do you think you fall? Simplify, explain, or specify? And how do you get to do more of that in your current role or in your next role? Next, how do you need to arrange and plan? Let's start on the opposite end this time, just for fun. If you're the one who literally says, put everything in order, here's the plan, don't mess with the plan, all the steps in the plan are beautiful and we need every step, and don't rearrange them because this is the plan and we're gonna do this first. Second, we have to. Third, we need to. Fourth, we gotta. And you're literally drawing me a timeline or a plan in the air. You might be a systematizer. Everything in order. You are the creator of processes and procedures. If that lights you up when I say it, write down systematize and find ways to do more of that in your current role, or position yourself as the systematizer for your next role. On the opposite end, this one's interesting. Think of the adapters. It's literally kind of a make it up as we go and or plan, maybe a high level, like 200,000 foot view plan. But we're always going to be able to adjust based on what happens next. The way I like to explain it is, think about the Indiana Jones movies, right? When he comes like skidding out of a big cave into this vast, room under the mountain, and he, skitters to the edge of a deep chasm, and he needs to get to the other side before the bad guys who are chasing him behind him catch up. Trouble is, his whip is not long enough to reach the other side to dun 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 across this cavern. But as he skittered, a little pebble should have gone over the edge, but all of a sudden, boop, a stepping stone appeared and the pebble landed on that. So he looks at it and he takes a step and it stays. And as he puts his foot out, another stepping stone appears. And then he puts the next foot out and another stepping stone appears. He's literally creating the path as he goes. That's kind of what adapters do. Again, maybe you're a little like me, maintainer. I gotta have some starting point, a template, if you will. Don't give me a blank screen or a blank sheet of paper. I will find something that already exists and maintain it. So an existing process, an existing proposal, an existing resume that I'm gonna tweak, an existing project plan that my team can work from, and just change it up based on what the new requirements are, what the current situation is. But always we're looking for a starting place or a template. So where do you fall? And why not try to get more of that into your current job, or make sure you're positioning yourself as the adapter, maintainer, or systematizer for your next role? Okay, where do you think you fall here? For fun, let's start at the bottom and work the high need and work our way back. So how do you deal with risk and uncertainty? Do you just jump in head first, throw some spaghetti against the wall, experiment? Hey, I don't know, let's see what happens. Let's try it. Then experimenter might be your jam. Hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm Meredith Massey, and this is where I start everything. It's with brainstorming. What if? What else? What's next? Non-linear thinking most of the time. So in your next role or in your current role, if the way you deal with risk and uncertainty is to experiment, try different things and see what sticks, how do you get to do more of that? Let's go to the opposite end of this spectrum, and it's the stabilizers. Not that they are change averse. Let's get judgment out of this. but they truly, their MO, if you will, how they solve the problem, make the decision, and take action is, okay, what's not broken? What doesn't need to change? And if it's not broken, let's not spend time, money, and other resources pretending to fix it. They're the ones who are the natural, and if this is you, it's sort of the natural, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Never sort of going off, I hate to use a gun analogy, but stick with me here, going off half-cocked. Like there's gonna be something that will motivate them to change when change needs to happen. Is that you? How do you get to do more of the risk mitigation in your job, currently or future? And then there's the middle. Again, it's sort of, enough change is fine. Maybe not change for the sake of change like the experimenters, right? Throw it against the wall, see what happens. But what can we try? What makes most sense to try? And, I guess we could always go back if it doesn't work the way we thought it might. So where do you fall? Again, where do you fall, and how do you get to do more of this in your current job or your future job? Last but not least, and this one tends to be the toughest one to get unless you have a very high level of need, or have a lot of this kind of energy of doing. This one, the question here is, do you need to solve conceptual problems or tangible problems? Let's go back to my friends in HR. Do you produce something tangible at the end of the workday? A report, maybe? But it's very conceptual. Employee relations, can you hold it in your hand? No, it's conceptual. So if you find yourself in the flow when you are solving conceptual problems, your word is envision. If you find yourself solving tangible problems, you can literally hold pieces of it in your hand or at least touch it, then demonstrate is your word, and you solve tangible problems. It's the difference between, in IT, the difference between software and hardware. Can you hold software? Nope, it's pretty conceptual. Is it hardware where you're figuring out what pieces go where and who plugs into what and how do we keep the room temperature exactly right for the systems to work properly? That's more of a tangible problem to solve. And then in between is someone who can sort of bridge between conceptual and tangible. Maybe it's a project manager on a construction site. You're not actually picking up the hammer and nails, tangible, but you're making sure that the work gets done in order of the way it needs to happen, in terms of the tangible things, but you're just not putting it all together. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. Which one of these do you want to get to do more of, because that's when you're in flow, either in your current role or your next role? All right, next. Again, just to confirm with you that I'm not making this up. This is another actual client who was in a role for 3 years that he thought was going to be great. It looked great on paper. It gave him great experience. He doesn't regret having done it, but what he did day in and day out was not there for him. And his level of confidence, so look at this, what he was doing was impacting his who. His confidence was shot at the end of those 3 years. And oh my gosh, when he sent me this note and said that you gave me back my confidence, that's what this work is all about. Not only that, in his new role that he just started a couple of months ago, from interview number 1, they called him a unicorn because of that experience. So thank goodness he got it. And some previous experience. This company said, we usually either get one or the other, never both. You're the unicorn. And so when it came time, as we worked through his who, what, why, and where, and when it came time that he matched with them, they matched with him, he was excited, they were excited to extend him an offer, we were able to negotiate. And this man got a 34% pay increase, not to mention killer benefits, because he was the perfect fit for that role. Let's talk about your why. What I mean by why is your definition of meaningful work. So when we're talking about either finding the right role for you or increasing your fulfillment in your current position, it's essential to start with what truly drives you. Your why, if you're listening and you're on this call, I know that your why is more than just a paycheck and a job title. You want to make an impact. You want your work to feel meaningful to you. So if you're a job seeker, your why ensures you don't just take any old job again. Knowing what your why is means that you can land, you know what it looks like, feels like to land in a role where the work that's being done gives you a sense of purpose. And if you're in your current role, your why, think of your why as the compass that helps you make sure the work you and your team you are doing feels meaningful. It's about creating more alignment between what you do every day and the bigger picture of why you show up. So you might tell me, gosh, it's people, Meredith. I just want to help people. That's fantastic. Guess what my first question is going to be? Which people? So when you go through this process, and if we were to go through it together, I would be asking you, to dig deeper and go deeper. Who are the people? This means that meaningful work to you is supporting people in some way, that you're creating an impact in their lives. Then there's things and objects. Typically what we mean here is practical things that we use. And you could either be involved, you don't have to be creating them, but if by your own hands, but you're either creating, buying, selling, delivering, but the why is around practical things. The first thing that comes to mind is like, what if you love wine and you want to be a wine distributor? Or a salesperson for a wine distributor, right? That's a semi-practical thing. See what I'm saying here? Let's go on to the next one. The third one is information, where meaningful work for you might involve expanding a body of knowledge. You're doing data analysis to help a company run more smoothly, or your team is. You're doing research to find the cure for cancer. All of those are reasonable and fantastic whys. We don't all have to find the cure for cancer. I'm suggesting here that if it's doing research and expanding a body of knowledge, that what is information that you love to dig into, and a body of knowledge that you want to create more of. Finally, there's the arts. And think of this as, I lump it into the arts, but really what we're talking about is creating beauty for the sake of beauty based on whatever your definition of beauty is. What is your unique vision of beauty? If you're drawn to creativity and artistic expression, this could be where you find your sense of purpose. So now take a moment to think about which of these or what combination of these resonates most with you. Write it down and start to think even more, and take some notes later about what your why looks like. What will it look like when I go to a role in a company that aligns with my why? I can tell you that one of the quickest slopes into burnout and disengagement is when we're working for something that we don't believe in. Last but not least, your where. The final piece that we'll talk about today, this is all about the environment that brings out the best in you. So think about the place, the space, the people. It could all the way up to the culture of the organization. What does that look like? What does your where look like that enables you to do what you do best for something that you care about, or that at least you're interested in, your why, and that needs the authentic who to show up every day? So again, whether you're looking for a new role or trying to create more fulfillment in your current one, think about where you thrive. Is it super collaborative or autonomous? Is it fast-paced or a little more planned and thought out? So again, take another moment and in your notes, write down a few things that come to mind about the where that's right for you. Let's talk about that in terms of this client. Toxic environment, not happy, and because the where was not a fit, he wasn't doing what he did best. He started to disengage, and the why was a disconnect, and even his who shifted. An otherwise, highly intelligent, very capable leader was starting to show up in meetings like this and said, why should I bother? They don't listen to me anyway. All of this was being impacted by his where. He was suffering from burnout. He had serious self-doubt when he came, and he said, Meredith, I got to get out of here as fast as I can. And I said, I hear you. Let's make sure that you're leaving not just to get away from, but so that you can go to and towards something that's a better fit. And he did leave that company as a result of a huge restructuring. But he's landed in a fantastic new company, a little bit smaller, which is what he wanted. Because it's a little bit smaller, he has a higher level of responsibility, which he also wanted. And he's leading his team in ways that this company has never seen. He's engaged. He's happy. Because he did the work to identify who he was and how he wanted to show up every day, what he does best so that he can do more of that, and then empower his team to do the same for themselves, what they do best. It's a why that he believes in. He's in digital product management. And now he's found a where that's super supportive, great boss, fantastic team. He's happy. Now listen, it is your turn. It's your time. And I want to help if you'll let me help you to define your who, what, why, and where. And then put it into your resume, update the LinkedIn profile, support you in going after the job you want, or defining your who, what, why, and where to help and talking with you about strategies for shifting how you do that in your current role for higher levels of fulfillment. We could work together right now in a couple of different ways. We could do a VIP day, a quick shift, get you started, one step forward. We'll spend 2 hours together helping you get clarity on one of these 4 areas: your who, your what, your why, or your where. You choose. Based on that choice, we're going to have powerful exercises maybe an assessment that's going to help accelerate your transformation. This is an easy way to start doing things a little bit differently in your current role, or shift how you think about your what's next as a job seeker, so that you can start to enjoy higher levels of fulfillment right now. And I've discounted it because I really, really want to work with you. So sign up quick. If you say, Meredith, that is not enough, I want the whole kit and caboodle. I want to work with you over up to 6 months. I want to make the complete shift, not just in one area, but in all of them. Then you're going to get the Success to Significance Roadmap, which is my powerful proprietary resource that I've developed and refined over the last 14 years working with hundreds of leaders just like you. This includes unlimited personalized one-on-one sessions. If you're a job seeker, I'm sticking with you until you land. It's not going to take 6 months, probably. Don't hold me to that, because you got to hold up your end of the bargain too. If you want to make the shift in your current role, especially in your current leadership role, you've got me unlimited for 6 months. When we do that in terms of your current role, in your current leadership role, I also have a huge library of powerful exercises and resources to help you start to make that mindset shift in your current role so that you're more fulfilled. And trust me when I say, as you sort of go up that ladder on the who, you're going to bring your team with you. And they're going to experience more fulfillment as well. If we're talking about a career change, like I said, we're going to go through your who, what, why, and where. And I promise you, your resume and LinkedIn profile are practically going to write themselves. I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to stick with you through networking. We're going to create an outreach plan to get in front of as many people as you can. Okay, as you're comfortable with. We're going to do in-depth interview prep. I'm with you for negotiation strategies and so much more. You always, regardless, have access to me between sessions via email, text, LinkedIn messaging, smoke signals, whatever it takes. And there's always the opportunity for pop-up meetings in between official sessions. When you've got an interview tomorrow that you want to prep for, you've got a one-on-one that you want to give feedback in at, that's going to help move your team forward, we're going to take time for that. The whole kit and caboodle for 6 months is $39.97 when you sign up by Monday. So let me just give you one more data point here about sort of proving that this works. This client came to me and said, I want out of my chosen sort of career path of choice. I'm sick of it. I'm not happy. I don't get to do what I love, and get me there. And within about 4 months, we had gone through and defined his who, his what, his why, his where. His confidence went up. This is an introverted fella who was reaching out to people, having conversations. One conversation led to an interview. He didn't get that job, but they remembered him and got back in touch a little bit later. He was invited into the interview process for a role with a professional sports team. Oop, there's my phone. Forgot to turn it off. He got an interview in his dream industry. He landed that job. It was a fit for him. He was a fit for them. And this is what he said to me. He's like, Meredith, I come to work happier every day. this is what I want for you. Truly. I've been on the other side of it. Remember that sick to my stomach on Sunday nights? I wasn't kidding. I don't want you to ever have to be there ever again. And having this framework in your hands, you'll never need another roadmap for career fulfillment ever again. In a few years, come back, revisit it. What are my who, what, why, and where now? Things change. So this is truly the last career roadmap you'll ever need. And like I said, I would love to help because I don't want you to waste one single additional day not being happy at work. So I'll invite you to think about what were your key takeaways from this. When we had this conversation live, we talked about it, but what were your key takeaways? And what's the 5% that you're going to act on? What's one little small step you can take to move forward? And when it comes to making bigger steps, I would be honored to help you. So whether it's a VIP day and we get in there and we knock one of those out and you say, gosh, can we do it again? We'll do a second VIP day on another area that you want to work on. Great. If you say, I'm ready now, sign me up for the whole kit and caboodle. I want to tackle all of it right now. We can do that too. Please sign up. Let me know how I can help. And if you're not sure, just after watching this little video, let's talk. You can click on the contact area of my website and find a time for us to sit down and have a chat. And we'll start to figure it out. There's no pressure here. Just know that I truly want you to be happier in either your next role or your current role and enjoy a level of fulfillment in your best role yet. Thanks.